We discussed previously how social choice theory wrestles with conflicts between ideas and interests of individuals at the level of society. The market resolves some differences of preference. I like vanilla, you like chocolate, but it's failed in the case of GMOs. It's too complicated. So let's think about this problem by comparing two other examples of the intersection of science and society and individuals. The most obvious current example is climate change. Global warming threatens a species, and yet the interest of every individual may be opposed to society's vital interest in reducing greenhouse gases. There's utility for the individual in energy-intensive lifestyle preferences, from automobiles to air conditioning, but the risk is far off and difficult to mobilize politically. Vaccination offers a second example. Vaccines are an application of medical science that has dramatically improved the human condition. So long as vaccination rate is high enough, herd immunity is maintained, and all individuals are safe from contagion. The vaccination was rejected by many as unnatural and risky for long stretches of human history. The technology eventually improved the human condition pretty dramatically. In recent years, however, social movements fed by social media and junk science have spread the hoax that vaccines cause autism. This is terrifying to parents. Though contrary to settled science, this hypothetical risk has led many parents to stop vaccinating children, leading to a loss of herd immunity in some places, putting society at large at increased risk. Like these two examples, the GMO debate is knowledge intensive, and settled science is widely challenged in society. One difference is that the knowledge around the GMO question is quite distant from most people's experience. Few of us know how plants are endowed with useful traits or how they're used in fields. So the utility side of this equation is less accessible to us, whereas uncertainties, the unknown unknowns or the black swans, offer an essentially limitless opening for construction of risk. One consequence for the conscientious individual was pointed out by Per Pinstrup Anderson in a book that won the World Food Prize, Seeds of Contention. Anderson challenged the ethical standing of actions by individuals in rich societies to block biotechnology that is valuable to people in poor societies. A ban on GMOs in well-fed Europe discourages research and development all over the world. In this way, an individual interest in GMO-free zones or bans on biotech crops has implications for whole societies, even international society, if widely shared among enough individuals able to act collectively. In my own research in India, I've seen that individuals organizing around urban myths around GMOs have delayed or stopped research, development, and extension of technology to farmers. BT cotton, for example, was portrayed in campaigns and social media as causing an epidemic of farmer suicides, death of livestock, other disasters in villages. Well, careful studies by natural and social scientists have shown that the opposite is true. The BT trait for insect resistance is so useful to farmers that use is now virtually universal among cotton farmers, well over 90%, reducing pesticide use, increasing incomes, and offering more exports to aid the national and local economies. In cases like this, numerous individual choices among articulate and organized people can collectively block research and development of crops that would aid the collective interest of farmers and the environment. In the case of golden rice, this effect could disadvantage huge numbers of poor people suffering from malnutrition, vitamin A deficiency. Another example from the GMOs is the interest of individual farmers and their choices. If one farmer chooses GMO-free cultivation and her neighbor does not, a problem of coexistence could result. Organic farmers in the U.S. fear that GMOs on neighboring fields could contaminate their crops and thus lose certification, and with it the market premium for organic food. Now, both conventional and organic farmers would like to be free to choose their seed on their own farms. It's hard to argue against that. But this is not a chocolate or vanilla choice. The blockage is the very concept of the GMO as a special category of seed because of the way the traits were introduced into the genome. But since the idea of the GMO itself is a social construct, ratified by some regulation, might it change with new techniques of genetic engineering and new social understandings of the science. Could organic farmers, for example, ever accept plants with traits introduced by molecular techniques and continue to till their soil with special care, without synthetic chemicals, and remain classified as organic? That definition and the very notion of a special object called a GMO are both, after all, artifacts of regulation. There's nothing natural about them. For example, some organic farmers in India grow BT cotton. Others don't. For them, this is a question of chocolate versus vanilla. Individual ideas and choices do have social consequences for farmers and the rest of us alike. The general ethical obligation of the conscientious individual is to become aware of these consequences by becoming informed. As we've seen, this is no easy task, as science communication remains subject to conflicting currents of political objectives. An honest broker is not so easy to find. Nevertheless, one obligation of being a member of any society, including the international society, is the inescapable responsibility of our actions for others.